Okay, so hello everybody who's watching on YouTube. We are going to be talking about the Shawlography mystery knit along. Right, I think we have to make Lauren go last because otherwise she'll intimidate all of us, because I saw a picture on Facebook and she's done all her homework.
No, I'm not finished yet.
I know it was a very sneaky picture because it implied that you had finished.
Almost hoping to be done before 12:30.
Okay, good for you. Oh. I'm on the bobble row and definitely not. Lynn, are you also knitting Shawlography?
I am, but I'm one of those, I ordered through you guys.
Yeah.
But I wasn't happy with the Karma Chameleon because it wasn't the same as what I'd got when I first ordered it, when it was first launched.
Okay.
So I decided to go with colors that I had in my stash.
Great.
And of which one of them is a cowgirl blue.
Nice.
But yes, I'm on, I've started the second clue.
Yeah.
And I'm about to start section 6. I'm just finishing off section 5.
Okay. So what we usually do is a little go around and look at everyone's project and see how everyone's doing. So I don't know if you're happy to show us.
Yes. I shouldn't have started this row.
Hold on one sec. I'm going to spotlight you so we can all see. Okay. Wow, that looks great.
Lovely
Colors are amazing.
Nice.
So it's a bit brighter than what I expected.
Yeah,
but
it looks
lovely. Are working out okay.
Very nice. And I think, certainly what I've heard from people, and someone responded to my newsletter yesterday and said that if you go onto the Ravelry groups, there are loads of comments about people's yarns the colors and things that they just the kits that Stephen put together and sold, people are kind of freaking out with because they want to move the colors and put them in different places, and so I think this is one of those shawls where you do have to exercise some judgment and decide where do you want particular colors to go and what do you want a section to look like, and if he says use D and E, but you don't think D and E will give you a contrast, then don't use D and E and use something else. And so I think it kind of is just one of those patterns is what I'm hearing.
Well, I've got that issue with, I looked ahead to the end of this week's clue, and the side edges are going to be in my pink and green.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I'd like those colors because it's quite a big section, but I'll go with it and see how it turns out, I suppose.
Yeah, or change it. If you don't like those colors, then put together 2 colors that you do like.
I'll see how it goes because I've got enough of the turquoise to mix and match. But as he says, each section has its own chance for the colors to stand out. So I'm thinking if I don't go with those colors, am I going to lose that chance as well,
Well, also I find sometimes there's a color in there that you don't particularly want to stand out, that you want it to only be a background sort of supporting actor, not a starring role.
Because if I'm going to do that, then I need to change the color of my bobbles as well.
Yeah, I hear you. I've done my bobbles differently from how they were, what we were told to do. But I mean, that's also fine. How's yours going, Belinda?
Yeah, some stress.
I'm going to spotlight you so we can see yours. Okay, let's see.
Okay, so I've got up to the welts.
That looks amazing.
I'm unpicking 2 rows. I'm halfway through unpicking.
Okay.
Try and hold it still.
Of the welts or after the welts?
Just after the welts and the triangles. I made a boo-boo there.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not enjoy the loops at all.
The icord,
The
Those are all
I-cord loops.
I-cord things. No, a lot of people
I
do.
heard, yeah, I heard them described as yarn shrimps.
That is a great one. And
So
Nanda,
apparently everyone's calling them the yarn shrimps.
yeah, Nanda messaged me, and maybe she did to you as well, Lauren, saying she doesn't like those things and she's making them shorter. I was like,
Yeah,
Oh.
he did.
Yeah, it was a trial in persistence.
yeah.
But,
But your colors are
yeah.
looking nice together, Belinda.
They're looking nice. What I'm just lucky with, because I just followed his instructions, is that the warm colors are all following each other and the cool colors are together. So like when just before the shrimps, the yellow, orange, and red just happened to be in a sequence,
Okay.
following the allocation. So that was just actually lucky.
Yeah.
But it goes through patches where you think, oh, I don't know, and then you do a section and it's like, oh, and then so kind of like the highs and lows of as the colors come in and leave, working with it. I'm enjoying the welts, or the toffees as I call them.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously unpicking is not a happy place, but I mean the triangles have to be, the accuracy is critical for those.
Yeah.
So so that's what I'm busy doing.
Okay.
And there's no ways I'll be finished for Friday for the next clue with those
I don't
wings.
think I will either.
No.
But that's also okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not stressed. Not stressed at all.
Good.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know where he's going to go next, but it's wild.
And
Can
as
I
these,
ask a question, please?
Of course.
Sorry. Did anyone not go with the needle size that he suggested?
I gave somebody on Saturday, I started them off with a 3.75. They're using Cowgirlblues, and she probably could have gone to a 4, just with the way she knits. I think, he did do that whole thing where we had to do a swatch gauge, just to see how we knit.
I did do the swatch gauge, and it was just, instead of being the 10 centimeters, I think it was just over the 9. And I thought, well, if I go up another needle size, it's going to use more wool and I might not have enough yardage. So I've stuck with the 3.5, but to me, it doesn't look as big as what yours look.
but I think don't worry about the comparisons, because it really is about, yours may be a little bit different size-wise from someone else's. It may or may not lock out. And don't worry about that too much. It finishes how it finishes. On last year's MKAL, I stopped before the end and just finished because I had, I think, more than 900 stitches, and I was so sick of it by then. I just wanted it finished. And so, and mine looks amazing, and it doesn't matter that I stopped a little bit early. It all works fine, So.
Because anyone who sees it won't know that you've stopped a little bit early.
They sure
No.
won't.
I mean, if I think of Bridget's Joys of Spring Shawl, my mum ended up using double the amount of yarn to get it the same in sock weight, to get it the same size as Margaret's one in sock weight, using the same needle size and everything. It's just the way she knits.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nobody seeing it is going to be any the wiser. It's just the way my mum knits up. I probably would have been able to do exactly the same as Margaret, and use the same yardage. So yeah, I know I generally do knit sort of, it looks a lot bigger than a lot of people.
Okay.
But I'm also using much thinner yarn than the Cowgirlblues.
Yeah, and that will make it a lot stretchier on the same size needles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm using cotton, so it's going to be a totally different
Yeah.
drape.
Different.
Okay. What sort of cotton, what size cotton did you go with? Also
With-
sock weight?
Fingering weight. So it's
Fingering
very thin, yeah.
Margaret, how's yours coming along?
Fine, and I'm using
Hold on one second.
size,
Hold on one second.
I'm using
Okay.
this a size 3 needle with the sock weight.
Okay, hold it up for us and hold it still. That's looking lovely.
Lovely.
Really nice.
I'm loving the orange and the pink in there.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah,
But the orange was a good idea of mine, wasn't
it
it?
was very good idea. A bold move.
The bold move.
I must say, yeah, I, like Belinda, I've done more than a few rows of unpicking.
Okay.
We all
But-
have, Margaret.
But I'm loving the knitting, following the knitting pattern and knitting something different, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, now I'm enjoying it.
And it
So
is
we'll see.
very different, and each section I'm kind of knitting and going, oh wow, you know, that's a really interesting way of putting these stitches together and putting that pattern together. And the welt section I thought was really interesting, how he did the pickup row, putting it together. I thought that was amazing. And yeah, just it's a really interesting, I mean, it's complicated and it's hard work, but it's
Yeah, even something about picking up 10 rows below or something.
yes.
I haven't got there yet. So.
No, it's easier than you think.
Oh,
And his
good.
video is
Except
very helpful.
Dropping the stitches like a nerve-wracking.
It is.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Everybody.
Ah,
I find my hands sort of slip on the needle and then they slip and then some stitches fall off. Yeah.
Well, with the welt section, Margaret, you actually have to drop the stitches. So
Oh, okay.
have that
Okay.
glass of wine or that gin and tonic on hand for your nerves.
I was going to say, but don't have the glass of wine or gin and tonic until after you've done the
yes.
row.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'll be dropping more than one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
So
I
let's
must
see
admit, I've
yours.
never
Bridget.
done I chords before, so that was something new for me.
good. And how did you find it?
It was fun. It took me an afternoon, I think, and I had all those I chord loopy things done. And I say an afternoon, about 3 hours, so it was okay.
Yeah. Was
So Bridget, let's see your one.
okay. I'm halfway through a row, so I'm just going to make sure I don't lose it. I put my camera here, so let me sort this out. Yeah, so there's mine. Coming out there. No, that hasn't worked. Why has that not worked?
You just hold it up, won't that help?
Sorry, I think I have to switch cameras. There we go.
Oh,
Ooh.
Bridget.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Very nice.
it's coming out nicely, but I've been making a few sort of not according to the pattern choices. So I really liked the olive, which he said start with your favorite color, and then it just seemed to disappear and it never came back again. So I've been putting it in where I wanted it. So I put it into this section over here in the middle, because I also thought it would, yeah, I kind of tweaked the colors here because I thought they'd work a bit better. And then I put it with the orchid blush over here, and then I'm doing the bobbles in the same color as the welts. And I'm going to, for the next, that last section with the stripe, the 2 stripe wings, I'm going to do these 2 colors again.
It's going to look lovely.
Yeah, and just kind of see how it pans out.
Oh, look, very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but I mean, like all of you, I'm enjoying the different techniques and how he's doing things, and making a few decisions of my own around color placement, but otherwise kind of just going with it. And his videos are really good, and yeah. So I think it's going well.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
And I think also the
Lovely.
fact that he gives you that freedom to play with the colors.
Ah,
And what's nice is that it's broken down into each section. So if you start and you don't like those color placements, you can always just undo it and
Yeah.
put it in a different color.
exactly.
I would have to really hate the color to undo a section and change the color.
Well, what I've also been doing is with each video, I don't bother to watch the video. I go straight to the end and look at what the whole thing looks like,
Yeah.
get an idea of what's happening in this next clue, and then thinking about my colors and how I'd like to see them. You know, when I look at this, I wonder, I almost think that to have brought the karma chameleon from the shrimps or the prawns or whatever they're called, to the welts and the bobbles again would have made for a nice repetition, but I don't know what he's going to do further along, because I want to see a lot more of this coming back. Anyway,
That's what's nice is
The
that
bubble color.
why don't you put the karma chameleon in your wings, Bridget?
yeah, maybe do the wings in the olive and the karma chameleon.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
because then you're closing off each section with the karma chameleon. So it's kind of like,
Yeah, because
You
for
know,
me it needs to come back. It needs to come back a little bit more.
and I know where you can get more of it if you need it.
Yes, so do I. Well, that obviously has been the one advantage for me, is I don't have to worry about yardage and running out of yarn.
Yeah.
And you've also got the variety to put them all together to see what you really like.
Exactly. And my mum has the same thing, because she was freaking out about her colors. And so I just said, well, look, let's just dump one of those and swap it out and put something else in. And I think she swapped the indigo for faded rose. And it's nice. It's sort of softened the colors. They're not quite so strong and quite so dark. And it's been a great choice.
Yes.
And that's what's also nice about having the 50 gram balls, is
Yeah.
that you can then go for 6 colors.
Yeah.
And your variegated is then your continuity to tie
Exactly.
everything together.
Yeah. And if you're worried about running out of a color, anytime you think about changing, put the variegated back in.
Yeah.
And keep using it. So yeah, anyway. Okay, Lauren,
Let
so
me
are
see
you,
yours, Lauren.
are you at the at an appropriate spot
Yeah,
you can show
I
us?
should try it. Let me just pull it a bit.
It's looking beautiful.
Ah,
It's not going to open up properly, sorry.
No, but it looks gorgeous.
stunning.
Lovely.
The colors are subtle. I mean, you know, sort of more muted, but they work so beautifully together.
Yeah,
Lovely.
and I actually was doubting my color choices at the end of section 1, and I thought, they're very dark, maybe I should put in a pop. And then I thought, no, I'm just going to trust his process.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with it. And even when I saw what colors we had to use for the wings, as I call them, I thought mine are almost the same, because it's a plain purple and then the variegated that's got the same purple in it. But it actually came out so beautifully.
Yeah, and
that I
it's
thought,
subtle
okay,
and
it's fine. It's gonna work.
it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing with using a variegated, is sometimes you do end up with more subtle if it's similar to one of the colors in your color palette, like where you're doing the wings. It's much more blended than hard stripes.
Like, I didn't like his colors together for the wings.
No.
I thought they were awful.
I really,
It's really awful colors and not mine at all. And yeah, so I'm still, I don't know, I don't ever repeat patterns. So if I do this, it's like going to be a huge thing, but I'm still thinking about doing another one, but using navy blue and then the neon African expression colors. So it would only be 4 colors, but I don't want to start anything until I've finished, so I can see whether it works with only 4 colors.
Yeah.
So I may never do it. Because I don't generally do a pattern more than once.
No, I'm with you. I don't knit patterns more than once either.
Yeah, it's got to be really extenuating circumstances.
Exactly. So everyone seems to be doing well with their shawlographies and much calmer than last week. Like we've settled in, we're in for the long haul.
We got through the shrimps.
Yeah, we've done the shrimps. We survived the shrimps. The attack of the killer shrimps.
The killer shrimp, yeah.
It was such a long section to do. It took forever. I was like, please get this in now.
Enough already. Mm.
I think my shrimps, some of them might be different sizes.
Yeah, mine are definitely
Like
different
that.
sizes.
I'm sure I've got a few like that.
That's okay too.
My bubbles are the same. I enjoyed making the bubbles. They were fun.
Yeah, I like bubbles.
And the welts were okay once I got over the thought of dropping stitches. And I didn't have a glass of wine or a gin in the cupboard.
Big mistake.
So I had to rely on coffee.
Or you can always use chocolate, Lauren.
No, didn't have chocolate either. It's been a very long 12 months, but the tide has turned, so that's good. My husband got payment for his second contract of the year, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so he was up bright and early and went off to work with a smile on his face, and we went shopping last night as if it was lockdown about to happen again. two trolleys full of stuff. So we haven't been able to go through the grocery or the cleaning products aisle and go, okay, we're going to buy everything that we need for cleaning the house. It's always been like, okay, you can use handy for multiple uses, right? We can get a bottle of handy this time. So it's been a very tough time.
That's hard to hear. Sorry, Lauren.
It's okay.
I've got a friend who thinks you can clean your whole house with vinegar. So
yeah, my hairdresser cleans a whole house with pine gel. I just can't use pine gel. The smell makes me so ill.
So they can clean a lot with lemon juice as well, from a fresh lemon.
And bicarb. So I'm going to stop our recording here so that everybody else doesn't need to hear our cleaning secrets. And we'll talk more shawlography next week.